Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you're through a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday Night Golden Guys. We are happy to be here. We have the three of us here, and just like the Golden Girls, with the sex appeal this time, because we don't have our Sophia, of course. But anyway, good having everybody here. We've got us over here and Knights. TS, how we doing, my friend?
I am great. Looking forward to the holiday next week, and other than that, just sort of chilling, biding my time in the comic world, just waiting for some good opportunities and just being patient out there. The market's crazy, but aside from the market, everything is good. Moving along, so hopefully 2020 will be at an end soon.
That's great. Yeah, couldn't ask for anything more than that. Knights, how you doing up there in the Northeast, the Northwest? Sorry,
it gets dark too early here, so
yeah.
And this whole lockdown or whatever is makes me feel like I'm in a long plane flight where I'm kind of like, did we get there yet? How long is this ride?
Yeah, we haven't had a lockdown here in the Midwest yet. Well, some of the states surrounding us we have, but luckily we're still going on. However, all the hotel cons for the next month that I was looking forward to hitting a few before they do it at the Christmas seasons and thank the silly season ones, and all 4 have been canceled. So,
oh man,
which I expected 2 out of the 3. I expected 2 out of the 3 closest ones to me were going to be, but one of them I was really shocked that they closed down because they were hyping it up that no matter what, we're going to get this thing done. But from what I gathered, the blowback from the hotel and the restrictions from the hotel weren't going to be worth it. So I completely agree with this situation there. Hope everybody's doing well and happy and healthy, and get their birds ready next week.
My comic shop is closing.
Yes.
Local comic shop.
Oh, really?
That kind of blows.
Yeah, but your local one?
Yeah, I went in there, called him up because he's got like signs up or whatever, and I just needed some like bags or something. And he's like, oh yeah, you could stop by. And I went in there, and it was like a freaking like a warehouse, and like there are all these people. He usually only has 1 employee, maybe, if that. And there were like 4 guys, and like he's doing so much business online now that he says, I'm just not going to reopen. And maybe an appointment here and there, and like people who actually buy comics, he's a little bit of a grumpy pants, but
show me a comic book owner who isn't.
He complains that like, the people think it's a museum and they come in here because he's got like cool old toys and,
Yeah, the one in Kirkland you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's been putting some big stuff up online, and he picked up a nice collection recently.
Yeah, I mean, he buys everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was disappointed because, I mean, it's very different to see something in your hands and touch it and like, you'll see stuff that you're not necessarily looking for or whatever and like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'll just want to get something cool for my kid or something. And yeah, it just kind of sucks. I wish that places like that had more stuff, like, because sometimes I'd go in there and I'd be like, God, I want to buy something, but there's nothing. Like, I wish you had like candy or something, I could just buy some cheap thing. That's why I try to buy like supplies off of them at least. But and I would blow a bunch of big, every now and then I'd buy a lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. He's grumpy, too grumpy.
Well, let me say hello to the chat. I want to introduce some people here. Mr. Gretzky, I'm here. Very good to have you here. Mr. Barrett, so who's slinging the gold? There we go. A couple of us here. Ricky, great having you here. Then we got Jambo. Great having him here. Going down the line, DS we got, of course. And coming down the line, Knights, Comic Bad Musings. Hello, gang. Good having you here. This will be a fun one. We're going to be talking a lot about the Comic Link auction coming up. So there are a few there I wanted to highlight for all you Golden Age fans out there. Some real interesting stuff. Stream Elements. Los Espinosa wants to know which one. Oh, it's Amazing Comics. That's closing down. The Comic G-Spot. Bummer. Mr. Galvin. Good having Mr. Galvin here. Comics for Thomas. Hey, everyone. Good having you here. And I apologize. I'm not going to put on my glasses because the glare, I can see it now. Maybe I need anti-glare the other way. So
Are you guys' stores doing fine at your?
I have
Your
one
local-
that does coffee and drive-through, and they do drive-through comic shopping now. So if you have a pull list, you can just pick it up. They don't really. Their back issues are okay. It's nothing. 1980 would be an old book for them. My biggest local one, most well-known one, Krypton. Dean seems to be doing okay. I hope he continues to do well. He's a big shop that does working on an online presence, doesn't really have one. And the other shops that are local in the area, we've got about 4 more. Give or take, I'm not a huge fan of some of them. And good to have Lewis here as well. He's watching, but no profile. Yeah, they seem to be doing okay. As far as I know, they have. And I'm not kidding you. But one of that Magic the Gathering and those games were a big thing for them, and they're not doing them as much.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been doing that online.
Yeah.
The D&D group and everything else. So I do feel that my local 2 shops here that have comics as well as toys and everything else, they're open every day. He just closed down a minute ago. And this Friday is going to be a big Friday for them because we do our Holiday Lights Festival, which is still going on. And the whole town lights up. It's pretty cool down here in this old market area of Omaha.
All right, so I've lived where I live now for the last 6 years, and there were 3 comic book shops. 2 of them they retained the name that it's like something comics, but all they do are cards and gaming and stuff. They don't have any comics anymore. So that leaves the one. And the one, I don't know, this guy's been there for 30 something years. He must own the building. It's a small building. So I think he owns it, and he's just got 2 employees, and he just stays open no matter what. And it's mostly new stuff. You can get a pull list, and then people go in there and get the new books that are coming out. And he's got back issues, but anything that's over $20 in value, he doesn't keep out. So it's kind of a weird setup. They don't do slabs because they think they're too easy to fake. So they don't do anything with slabs. They don't send stuff in. They won't buy slabs. They won't sell slabs. So that's kind of weird. And they usually, occasionally, will get a couple mid-range Silver Age books, but they don't ever have any big bronze or silver keys or anything. And I'm not a big fan of buying at shops anyway, because I don't buy new stuff, and I don't like paying fair market value or above that for silver and bronze anyway. That stuff with the internet and other places, you can find that stuff cheaper. So I'm not a good customer for a comic store. I go in there occasionally if I need supplies, on the spot, and I'm out, and even the supplies they have are cheap. They're those real thick, oversized, dusty looking bags, cloudy bags. I don't even like the supplies they have. So I go in there maybe once every few months for something random. Not much of a comic store area around here. Most of the comics I go hunting around here, but it's mostly thrift stores.
That's what I do.
Stores, antique stores. There's a video game store where he has some comics. Collectibles stores, little random places where you can look some crannies in town. I can find stuff.
Yep. I was actually one of the antique shops here. Gave me a phone call saying you might want to take a look at these comics I got, and I had to break the news to him that they are Dell dime a dozen photo covers. So
I've got a stack of those here. I don't even know what to do with them.
yeah, I was like, they're a dime a dozen, and that's what it's going for. But I hope everybody's LCS is still going on. We have one of the things I talked about with one of the bigger retailers last week about a project that we're working on here at the core. I asked him how he's doing with his online sales. He says, surprisingly, his silver and bronze have skyrocketed and his moderns have plummeted. He says the pull list, people just aren't picking them up. We're working on it, so it's good having good here. I get some new people just came in. We've got Great John's Comics with Kids. Good having him here. DK Comics and Cosplay. Good having him here as well. If I do miss you, I apologize. And again, like I said, I'm kind of going off this little print over here. And
yeah, I do have one pickup I'll show whenever, and that actually ironically came from this shop. So I feel like I just bashed them, and now I'm going to show.
Well, I did find this at the shop, which was the John.
Oh yeah, nice.
Cover. Well, not really. It's a detached cover. It was $10, but it's the cover I wanted. It's there. It's called The Holiday of Horror Stories inside, and I'm gonna read it because the other copy I have is slabbed, so I needed a raw copy. And I said, how much you want for it? He goes, what do you think it's worth? I'm like, well, it's about a 0.5 at best because of the covers. It's neatly split and detached right down the side. It's right there. It's perfect split. But I said, what do you want to do? He goes, how about $10? I said, okay. And he knew I can't go wrong. I really just wanted the interior anyway. Because like I said, the other copy I have of this is slabbed and I've never seen the interior. So that's my one pickup. And I'm happy about that. I get to see the interior of this Buscema work from 1952. Again, this is though I believe this is the start of Buscema really doing his best work towards the Silver Age and Bronze Age towards the Conan. But this is just brutal. Death opens 5 closed doors, and the Holiday of Horror story is the one I wanted. I've heard stories about what it looked like and how it's not a PCH book, but it's I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to do that when I can pull off the. I don't want to open a detached cover and get a bunch of downvotes on YouTube. I know people get upset when we touch books here.
Well, I got some archival tape if you want some.
Yeah, exactly. You can use archival.
You can put a couple pieces on the cover and get them to get back together, maybe bump you up to a 1.0.
Nice. So let's see that your pickup. Which
so I went in. So
Lewis, pay attention.
Every few months or so, I go into the comic shop. So I went in there because I was looking for Saga trades, and I was running around town. I'm like, let me stop and see if they have some, because I'm reading the Saga series and doing an online thing with a few guys on YouTube on JP Collects channel. That's coming up next month, I think, the next episode of that. They didn't have the Saga trades I needed, but on the counter they had a box of Golden Age stuff. And I was looking at it, I said, hey, what's up with this stuff up here? You got some Golden Age books. And he says, oh, yeah, that's a consignment from a local collector. He brought in the stuff he wanted us to sell for him. And they never have Golden Age, and that's why I basically don't go there. They don't really have anything that I collect. But I was looking through, and they had some Green Lantern and some early like Captain Marvel books, like in the 20s, Captain Marvel Jr., pretty nice shape. They had a couple EC books, Vault of Horror, Haunt of Fear. Then they had this other one that I looked at, and I said, hey, what's this one's cool. What's the price on this? And they had the prices on a note sheet. So he looked at it, and he was like, yeah, $175. And I was like, all right. So I took a look at it, and it's complete, and it's low grade, but it's complete. It's not restored, and 1 to 8 range. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So I ended up picking up this. Was Science Comics number 7, 1940. This is a Fox Features Syndicate title. It only ran 8 issues, so this is next to last. And they're all tough to find, but this one's really tough. I don't see it come up hardly ever. And I think there's like 10 or 12 on the census or something. So I figured for 175, I can't go wrong with that. And it actually, it's dirty. It needs to be cleaned, but the colors are pretty good, and it's fairly intact. It's detached at the top staple, and it's got some splitting at the top and bottom of the spine. And of course, a little chunk off here where it says the 7 is missing. But other than that, I mean, a decent old Fox book, pretty cool. So for 175, I was like, yeah, it's got to be worth at least double that. And I never see it, and it's nice. I like it. Good sci-fi cover there. So, yeah, this was a surprising sort of little find, especially at that place that never has anything like this. So yeah, I was really happy to pick that up.
And the cover artist is?
Well, this is uncredited. The early issues have Lou Fine covers, and those are off the charts popular. Like Science Comics 1 and 2 are both on my sci-fi grails list. As they go through towards the end of the title, last several issues, they're not credited, so I don't know who did the cover art on this. CGC doesn't know. I did some research. I can't find out anywhere where they can tell me who's the cover artist. But it's got some sci-fi stories inside. It's a sci-fi book publication, and I think for me, Planet Comics is the top of the list for Golden Age sci-fi, and then Science Comics is right under that. So I think it's really, really cool title. So I don't know who the cover artist is, but it's good colors. I think it'll clean up nice. It's probably like a 1/8, but it's the cover's still attached and it's complete, and it's nice. 68 pages. It's a 68 pager, which is kind of
I was gonna say that's one of the bigger books. One thing about the Science and you Fox collectors, if you're a Fox collector, it is extremely hard to be a completist in Fox collecting, because Fox books are, especially the ones pre-1940, are almost few and far between, and if you do find one, it's not cheap. I mean, if you think about, Fantastic Comics and Science, and what was the other title? The big
they did Wonder World. They did
World,
Mystery Men. They did Weird Comics.
Weird. That was another one.
Science Comics, and so they 5. So I think they have more, but I mean the sci-fi type stuff. There's like 5 titles that are sort of at the top, and I would say Wonder World is probably the top Fox sci-fi title. And then I think Science Comics is a short run. It's shorter than the others, but it has some really massively cool books early on that make up for the lack of variety throughout the title. It's very short. It's only 8 issues. The other ones go on for longer, 30, 40 issues or something. So yeah, I don't know. Science Comics is probably my favorite Fox title, followed by Wonder World. Those are like top 2. And they all have a lot of Lou Fine work too.
I was going to say Lou Fine, Basil Wolverton. Yeah.
Fantastic Comics has number 3, which is an all-time grail, like an Action 1 level for Dark GA.
Absolutely.
But in most of them, it has a lot of good Lou Fine work, especially cover art. But it's mostly like Samson covers. It's not a lot of. It's not as dark and creepy. It doesn't have a lot of aliens or sci-fi scenes, but it's got Samson just tearing shit up all the time. So they're cool, but I like Wonder World and Science the best.
Yeah, when Basil Wolverton did some work with Fox, and you might get lucky with a few of the popular names. The good thing about some of the like Fox publications is that they're all really good art, whether or not you know who did it or not. But it is nice to get the plus of having one of the greats ever, Lou Fine.
Let me show for people who may not know in the chat who aren't familiar with it. Let me show a picture of Fantastic Comics 3.
Which is, by the way, I think all 3 of us like this book. Even our timely guys.
Classic. But it's a robot cover by Lou Fine, and this is a Samson cover, but it's a sci-fi cover because of robots. Yep. And it's hard to see on this photo, but the detail on the book with regards to everything, but especially the robot, it's insane amount of detail. And he's lifting up that train, and people are falling out of it. There's another one on top of the building. It's epic. This is an absolutely epic Golden Age book. And for Dark GA, this would be like an Action 1, Tech 27 level book, along with probably Suspense 3 and Adventure 27, like that level of book. This is right at the top of the list. So, this is an all-time grail of mine, but will I ever get one? I don't know. Maybe.
To show you the popularity of that book, in my Golden Age book from the 70s, not a Gerber, but it's got all the covers in there of some of the books on a full page. That one is highlighted as the most sought after. This was in 1975.
Oh, wow.
So it's been there for a long time, which
Yeah.
they, compared to the action and the, the Superman, Batman runs and everything else. And I'll talk about Batman a little bit later on. The thing about when we talk about these publishers, and we mentioned Fiction House, Fox, MLJ, everybody, those are Fiction House is kind of more towards the E.C. Harvey, especially later on, because Fiction House went from, 1937 all the way to the end of the Golden Age and kept going. But MLJ, those are your Peps, your Zips, your, not just your Archies. No offense, Mr. Gretzky, but there's a lot of others in there that are quite desirable. But Fox is one of those that there's two. We mentioned about it with Ajax Farrell. The thing about Fox is they're older, and they might be of that era the worst paper of that era, of the pre-war. I mean, it's just they don't come around in good condition. Anything above a 4, it would be very good. So
well, when it comes to Fiction House, I think if you set your sights or your standards at off-white to white, you can go way back in Fiction House and find off-white to white. Now, you're going to get a lot of creamed off-white, but if you want to hold out for off-white to white, that's fine. I feel like on the Fox books, much harder to score off-white to white of these 39 and 40 books. There's a lot of creamed off-white, and there's a fair amount of light tan to off-white also. So I haven't had – this is the first Fox book I've ever owned, so I'm not in a position to comment on the page quality. But I know the ones I see on the market, and I feel like the page quality generally is lower than something like a Fiction House from a simple time. So I don't know. This one I think is cream to off-white probably. It's definitely not off-white to white. I think it's cream to off-white on this one. It might even be a light tan depending on how much of the light tan they find that call it that. And I'll clean it up and send it in and slab it to preserve it. But yeah, I don't know. The paper quality on this, it's still all there, but it's tanned and it's a little rough around the edges. So I don't know.
Yeah, one of the we were talking about Fox not that long ago, and somebody mentioned that they actually had a good gloss on them. That if you get a good clean one, the gloss on them does the colors justice. The colors don't fade as much as they do on a Fiction House. If you don't know Fiction House, they tended to use a lot of deep dark coloring, and it's usually the first to fade, red to orange and yellow to, it happens with the Fiction House. While Fox tends to have, Fox, when you're doing with the rulers, and when I did with the Jungle Fox publication books, Zigra and stuff like that, they're the covers tend to be way better quality than the interior, which is exactly what he's talking about. Ajax Farrell, you're more than likely going to find a Brittle Pages book. So
yeah, I had a Farrell that was it got a slightly brittle designation from the 50s. The reds on this are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean those are great. The thing about that cover is the thing about Fox is I think the covers hold up.
Purples fade pretty quick too. The purple gloves are pretty good. The blues are good. And honestly, the yellow's good. It's a little dirty, which is affecting the brightness of the yellow. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you find a book like this, and look, they didn't know how to price it. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm probably more of an expert than they are at pricing this stuff. You can't look up data on these. You can't look up GPA. You just sort of have to have a feel for the genre. And so I don't know how they arrived at 175, but I think it's like a 1.8, and I think it's easily worth double that based on the rarity and the coolness of it. And it's just one of those things. People ask me a lot, where do you go to figure out the values on these things? You sort of have to immerse yourself in the category and watch auctions and just handle some books and see what they go for, and you sort of get a gut feel, and it's always a risk because. I mean, I don't feel like there's much risk at 175. I mean, it can't get much lower for a Golden Age book to, this isn't not going to be a $5 book. But you just sort of have to get a feel for it. And I feel like when I see this, and you can look it up, there's no data to find it out. I feel like this is a $400 book, probably, give or take. I don't know. I'm just going with my gut, but I feel like, these are the type of books you can find deals on, because even experienced dealers who are dealing with Silver Age and Modern and Bronze and superhero stuff and Gold, they can't keep up on everything. And if you know a particular market really good, you can find deals even from dealers with lots of years of expertise, because it's just tough. They get one of these, and how do you price it? You can still find good deals on stuff like this, because it's just tough to price, and you just got to sort of take a risk sometime. But
good having NC Slapjacks here, and I agree with that completely. And Roman Curtis, good having you here, and K Titus Konnichiwa, my good friend. So we're gonna look at Comic Link's featured auction right now, and there are not a handful. There's a bunch of books in there, but there's a few books in there and a few art pieces we actually talked about, but a few books in there that I'm pretty sure we're going to be debating. I think there's a Captain America one that we're going to talk about. The one I like in there. I like the. Yeah. Well, do you want to bring it up, Knights?
I think there's two Cap.
Right. There's two Cap ones, and I'd rather have the restored one than have the. I mean, just look at the restored one, and it's restored by having the cover cleaned professionally. So as far as if you live your life by labels, that's up to you. I just look at the interior of the book right there, and if you want a Cap one, it is a lot of fun. And also in that book, I also want to talk. I know it's 1959, but there's a double cover Adam Strange showcase, which is from 1959, so that would be Gil Kane probably did the cover on that one, and it's Gil Kane of all his works. I'm not going to knock anything he did. I'm just saying my favorite work is his Adam Strange work, or his DC work from in the 50s before he went back to Atlas Marvel. So we're going to bring this up over here. We're going to BS and talk about this, and if I see you in the chat, comment if you want on any of these books. But let's just get all right. So first off, there's an Action 17.
It looks nice.
Yeah, and don't think these current bids are where it's going to go. You got 2 weeks to go, and Knights hasn't even thought about it yet.
So they don't have a watch list. So here's what I do, and I recommend this to people. If you want to keep track of a lot of books on a Comic Link auction, get on there right when it opens and place $1 bids, and then they're sort of like on a watch list. Because if you wait a couple days and then you want to watch an AF-15 and 5.0, you're going to have to bid $20,000. I'm not trying to do that. I've done it before, but I try to get it early. So I already went on there before the show and placed $1 bids on everything. Throughout the night, I just get all these emails of outbid notifications. And I think I'm still the high bidder on a couple, but I'm not really worried about it. They're on my list now.
Flamethrower.
So the first up of the Superman Action Comics, which all of them are, and you've got 3 war books back to back to back. You got a tank, you have the flamethrower, and you have it looks like a Zero. And again, these are absolutely gorgeous to have in person.
I agree.
I have very high, really good grades. If you've never held an Action Comics Superman from this era, they are really cool. We don't have to see that one, but I love this era of Superman.
These are great ones.
I love the logo on his chest the most. This is my favorite Superman. Is always going to be, other than when obviously Neil and Jerry Ordway started doing it.
Oh, and let me also point out that Comic Link, and like most auction houses, they do their monthly regular auction, and then each season, like fall, they'll do like a featured auction with much higher caliber stuff. So this is their featured auction for fall. So it will have higher caliber stuff than you'll see in their regular monthly one.
Yeah, and I always say the featured auction artwork is usually the key piece at that time for Comic Link. So we have some adventures.
You don't hear about it much.
Legion of Heroes.
Current bid is already $2,700 on that.
It's a big book. I mean, yeah.
I think the supervillains, first supervillains, which is a cover swipe of that, is much cheaper, equally cool, but obviously it's the first legion of supervillains. But I feel like those two go together, and the villains one is much more affordable.
Mhm.
Have they ever done a Legion of Superhero like movie or TV show or anything?
I don't think so. I haven't heard.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Because I imagine
You never know with the WB. They might
feel
put
like-
something out.
that could be good. You know,
Yeah.
no one knows much about it, so like they could really
Good writing would beat everything.
could go wild in that thing, and then this book would just go crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. A 9.8 on this Adventures.
Yeah, that's like probably 1970 or something. Oh, it says 69. Yeah, I was gonna say 50th center. Neil Adams cover. Yeah, that's cool. Single highest graded.
Here's one of my favorite people in there, the great Stan Sakai, right there. Sorry, I always going to shout out Stan Sakai. A great first appearance and origin of the Green Atom. So that's pretty cool. Oh, that's a.
That All Police Cases 11 is sort of like, if you're into L.B. Cole, that's like a poor man's version of Thrilling Crime Cases 49, which is the big brother of this book. Similar style and theme, but that one sells for much more. This one is actually much tougher to find than the other one. And to find this at all is tough. I've never owned one. And a 7.5, I mean, this is going to be a pricey book because it's a really good L.B. Cole book, and it's one of the really tougher L.B. Coles to find. One of the toughest Star books to find right there, honestly.
And it's got that CVA if you're interested. Then there's the all
Here's
flat.
the one you guys always want to say
This
is
is my favorite golden age Flash right there. If you're a big Wally West fan. This is one of the books I wanted to talk about and spend some time on. This is probably one of my favorite. Yeah, you can bring it up, the whole one. This is my opinion, outside of the All Winners. This is my favorite Schoenberg work, superhero work. There's something about having those three together, and Cap in the parachute there and the back end of the shield. I think this is just ridiculously good.
classic cover.
And my timely guy, you got to love this one. Is this one of your favorites as well for Schoenberg?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I placed a bid on this to watch it. And after I placed bids, I had the wife look. I'm like, take a look at this list of books that I bid on for this auction. Tell me which one you like the best. So she went through and picked which one she liked the best, and this was at the top of her list.
Yeah.
She really liked it.
Yeah, it's of all the Captain America, the three guys, but in particular Captain America with the gun, that's my favorite one.
And it's a really good looking copy. Knights, what do you think that'll go for?
I'd say
4?
probably 6,
Ooh, okay.
maybe 6.
I was thinking closer to 10, but I don't really know.
That was
I
way
don't
out.
know.
I'm cheaper than
There
you.
are a lot of these. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. There are a lot of all select ones out there.
It was a very.
But,
Mhm.
I mean, it all depends. I think if you get just the few people really want it right now, I don't know if there's any others out there right at this moment. If there's not, then it'll probably go higher.
Mhm.
But
I want one of those as an investment because I know it's a cool book, but I know timely collectors really covet it, and I would like to own one of these as an investment. But
yeah,
it's so pricey.
it's
Here
one of
we've
those
got-
books where like you can't. I've had a few, and I wanted to get one at replacements, and I wanted to get just a real like cheap one, and you can't even like. It's like at least $2-3 for like even just a really crap one. So
That's a good looking 3.5, I think. I mean, it has some
Yeah.
structural stuff. I think it looks like
a
there's
little
up top.
looks a little bit kind of faded, like or
Slightly, the yellow looks a little darker.
yeah, yellow brownish a little.
and Cap's blues are a little faded. So.
yeah,
But Comic Head 84, good having you here. He said, "Ripping up a Heritage account." Oh God, it's a rabbit hole. Of Heritage. Because with the difference between Heritage, I say, and everybody else is they hit you with Sunday nights, and that's I call the Sunday night comic Heritage auction is like betting on Hawaii on college football Saturday. You're just doing it because you got to do it, you know. Tech 31, good having you here. I think we're going to see your book in a little bit here.
Yeah, he's saying the last 3.5 sold for 10K.
Oh wow!
Wow,
6K for a 2.0. So I might be close on that. Then I don't know. We'll see.
Man, yeah. See, I'm still like in the 2018 prices or something.
Well, yeah, but Knights, once you get one of these and lock it down, you don't need to follow the price anymore.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
By the way, Tech 31, I think a couple of weeks ago we had on a guy from Heritage Auctions, Randy, and he brought in his 7.5 Tech 31.
Oh wow!
They don't let him carry the $1 million books to show on here, but we got him to show that one.
What I do like about this, you know, there are a lot of copies, but a lot of them have slightly registration is off, and this one looks perfect. Like the black, all the colors are where they should be. Pretty much. There's a little bit of yellow right here coming off, but yeah, I mean, if you look at a bunch of these online, more than likely, I'd say, I don't know, sometimes it seems like half of them are off. And, you know, some of that doesn't bother some people, but for me, it was.
It's an 80-year-old book. I mean,
I don't mind a slight registration error, but sometimes on some of those Mystics, it's way off, and that bothers me a little bit. But I would probably accept it for a good price on something like First Destroyer. You know, that one always has a bad registration.
And it's really nice when it's on for the Schomburgs, because it's got here, let me bring it a little closer. Like when it's off, all these little guys, you know, they'll be like a big like purple down here, and then the rest of the guy will be yellow, you know. So with the detail, it looks really good when it's on.
Nice. I actually, one thing that we found out from Anthony was that Timely had a lot of bleeding issues in 42 with a lot of their books. So I think the next book up there is the first appearance of Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman herself. Yep. All right. So again, a 5 appearance, first appearance of Wonder Woman, but you don't see her there at all. Again, the debate continues at this group. I think I rather have the Wonder Woman 1. Knights rather have a Sensation 1. DS, you'd rather have the All-Star, I think.
I mean, I would take the All-Star just because of the key nature of it, but I do like the Wonder Woman 1 cover better.
Yeah.
But I would take the All-Star 8. I mean, the cover All-Star 8, it's a pretty good cover. She's just not on it, but it's not.
Oh, like, and it's one of my favorite Spectre covers, period.
Yeah, it's a good cover. So I could take that cover, and then the key aspect of it, I would take that one. But it's not like Strange Tales 110, where the cover is not very good at all. It's still a good cover. It's just that she's not on it.
And you got Dr. Fate, Power Man, Sandman, and Sandman's hanging out in the back. And by the way, this is just before, and this is just after Sandman had some really great runs on the title. So,
but the colors on this one are amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's why it got that CVA.
Yep, and that I was going to say, if you want to know what a beautiful cover of First Appearance of Wonder Woman is, this will go for a premium above a normal 5.0 because of that. What happened to him?
Yeah, I think probably on that, probably 50 to 60 grand. I'll tell you though, I used to not see All-Star 8s very often, and now they're all over the place. It's not a very rare book. There seems to be tons of this book out there in the last 4 years or something. There's tons of them, but that is admittedly a very nice copy.
Did he just start doing?
Wow, look at that, 9.6.
Big Apple pedigree. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Highest graded.
Oh, very
have an A on it anywhere though, I guess.
Man.
Return of the Psycho Pirate.
I love that
what
black.
pedigree are they? Oh, Big Apple pedigree. Okay. It's an okay pedigree.
Yeah.
I think we all have our favorite pedigrees. Up now, not one of my favorite all winners.
Yeah, me
Sorry.
neither.
I've always had something about this book saying I don't like one person drawn on this book. Not one is drawn.
Well, what is it? A Sid Shores cover?
I actually I don't know who did this one. Bill Everett.
Avison.
No, Avison.
Oh,
Yeah,
Avison did the cover. Okay.
Him and Shores always mess up Cap's face.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah.
And he's got that bad interior shield where it's like just a flat cardboard.
Oh yeah, the Schomburg double.
Yeah, I don't like the shield. I don't like the flags being whatever country they're from.
But this part is good. The three guys.
That's exactly the people. The Mussolini.
Yeah.
Hitler Hirohito cover. But the fact that Bucky and Toro are sitting there, Toro doesn't even have any detail to him. Bucky's head looks like a orange on a toothpick there. His head's, it just doesn't look right. I think this is a dud of a comic. Well,
I'll tell you, it's a nice grade, and it's a pedigree, and it's a Hitler cover. So it'll
sell.
It'll sell, yeah. But I agree with everything you're saying, JD. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And just like the ones in here, I'm just going to say it, not nearly dark enough for me.
I like the wings on the Namor and Cap. I kind of like those wings, I have to say.
Okay.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm. And you're a timely guy.
Oh, I like this
now,
one.
Now, this is different. Now, here's a different all winners that I think everybody can get a real handle on. This is beautiful right here.
Awesome.
Now, let me ask, is this the reverse colors of Cap Shield? Was that purposely done?
They did that every now and then.
Yeah, I always ask this because when Atlas, this is later on, right? This is right in the middle of the war. What year was this?
43.
43, yeah. I kind of like this book, but it's your busy cover.
I'll tell you what I like about Schomburg World War II covers. I like when Schomburg puts primary colors on the machines and devices of war, the battleships, the planes, the guns. And like, for instance, on the lower right here, you've got this Nazi, and his gun is a bright red. I like that. It's cool. It's obviously not realistic, but I like seeing the yellow planes and the blue battleships and the red guns. It's really cool. It adds a lot of extra color. It's not realistic, but I really dig when he does that.
The attention to detail he does is unmatched in here. Not so much the coloring of it, but if you look carefully at Cap's swing and punch into the helmet of that there, the dent is already there in the helmet. Just the great detail done. Great book. And it's one of my favorite of the all winners. Yeah.
I love when he does Black Smoke. I think it looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
He does a good job.
What kind of oil is that?
I don't know.
It's tough to tell because oil. Something Bing oil. I don't know.
Leaking oil now.
Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say this is an easy book to come by.
No,
especially not 8.5. God.
Yeah, old label.
That's not a pedigree copy, right? That's just a straight up, just nice copy.
Well, it's an old label, so maybe.
So pedigrees didn't come in till the second. A lot of the pedigrees that this may have been part of wouldn't be.
Yeah, you crack it open and see if there's something written on pencil on the first page or something, maybe.
If you could, some of them have like in the Bronze Age, one of the attributes of all the Western pens, and I've got a lot of raw ones, is the smell. They have a very distinct, and if you own a bunch of them, you know that smell right away when you say it's a Western pen. Yeah. So
it's a great torch too, I feel.
Oh yeah. I mean, even look, Toro's got his detail and his hair parted. So, nice.
And that DS, part of why a lot of people like All Select One a lot is also there's no sidekicks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
serious kind of feel to it, you know. Oh, here's another nice man. There's some
Beautiful
nice.
timelines in this one. 9-2. Wow.
Look at the detail there. Goes way back. All
You know,
these
the
still
train.
guys way back there in the train. Imperial Dry Dock. Stop them from making any more boats.
Mhm. And Bucky is super tall. His foot is the size of that guy, but it's really
He's a
good.
Killer at this point, yeah.
Yeah, and
I like the
I
time.
like the shield a lot.
now
And
Cap's
always good.
actually getting shot in this one. So
Yeah, he's fine. Look at that.
he's doing okay. He's handling himself for being shot.
He's got the Punisher Kevlar vest on there.
Yep.
And
And
I like-
and Emperor Hirohito's down there on the right in the Napoleon gear. So
and the gun Cap shooting is always good.
yep, it's another Cap gun.
Yeah, nice yellow one this time.
What's the Western pen smell? Kind of. They compare it to a sweet cedar. Was actually the term that they used. They were kept in a box in Erie or around that in the Pittsburgh area, and they all have beautiful white pages and it's just it's a faint odor, but it's there. It's
White pages.
not death pages. Beautiful white pages on an all winners.
Very nice.
Yeah. This one was 44. They were smaller. I think they had a paper shortage. They had to cut the less pages in this at this point. Looks like
Well,
it had might
All
only have
Winners was a quarterly book, right?
might
Yeah.
only have one staple too, because this was around the
Dead
shortage.
center, yeah.
And it's a lot thinner. Like it's like normal comic size actually, almost.
The 32 pages.
Used to have this like the size, the width.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
like the early timelies are, your typical very early Golden Age where they're like super wide. It's pretty good. Was that?
Oh, we got a Fox publication coming up.
Oh God, I just need to look at that. That looks.
Yeah, that's my
we were-
favorite Spider-Man book, so I'm not gonna.
We were dissing on Ditko covers, but I love this one.
This is my favorite Spider-Man cover, hands down.
So good.
And I still regret walking away at a con in Minnesota, and I regret it to this day of walking away on a raw copy of that book in a trade. I just was afraid it was color touched because of the Doc Ock look on the left pant leg. It looked too black for me. I said, and he wouldn't let me open the book because it was in one of those, not a plastic shield, but like one of those cases that not a slab, but something he didn't want to open.
That's dumb.
He's a dick. He's always in Minnesota. Everybody knows who he is. He's don't knock his books, but he does have. He had a 6.0 Journey 83 and really nice Silver Age books. So, but this one he picked up. He said that day at the auction, hasn't looked at it yet. But I do love the book. It's a classic. All right, get back to Golden Age. There we go. There was I think we had a. There was.
Do they have a sorting in this?
Yeah, if you go to the top, we'll just go.
all the way you have it right now.
If you go to the top, go to one of the things I do when I want to look for Golden Age, because we got to assume they're the most valuable, or the books everybody wants to see. Go to price and descending.
It's further
Oh.
down. Right there.
Yeah, right here. Sort by current price or current bid, and then do descending there. And you're going to get some artwork in here, but nothing anybody here is not going to knock, especially because this proves a point. There you go.
God.
That is Barry Windsor Smith X-Men book. If you want to know how much they expect this to go for,
Wow.
they expect this to go for a ton.
It should go for
It is extremely rare. to find a Barry Windsor Smith original art.
What issue of Marvel Comics Presents is that from?
81.
Okay, so yeah, it's it was 72 to what was the X run? Was 72 to
83,
it was 84, 72,
Yeah.
84.
84.
This is gonna when this was announced that this was going to be in this auction,
Wow.
the look on it, the comments from people in the art world were saying, okay, that's going to be the one that breaks the record for interior pages X-Men book, just because it's so over the top awesome.
So detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And the I've seen a bunch of Barry Smith art,
Mm-hmm.
and usually there's a ton of whiteout and stuff, and this looks really clean.
Yeah,
Amazing.
There was a joke I heard about Barry Windsor Smith and his editor got along like oil and water. So
But this
he
is
did not.
like,
He
wow.
if you, I mean, my favorite Barry Windsor Smith. I'm just going to say the Doctor Strange run, but good stuff. Now, if we go the next,
Oh, God.
okay, so there you go. There's Todd McFarlane's piece. Second Todd McFarlane Marvel.
They got
work.
some winners here, man. That's a good one. Great one.
Yep.
This will probably beat that. What do you think?
I don't know because it's a cover. It's Todd McFarlane. This will transcend, but people have been waiting for the Barry Windsor Smith X-Men stuff for a while.
I mean, I would rather have that X-Men, Weapon X than this, but
Yeah, Weapon X, we should say. Sorry.
But
I mean, you talk about the two most premium Marvel characters are Spider-Man and X-Men.
and this is so this is it's a splash page, but it's also the cover of the trade paperback. So you're
Correct.
kind of getting a double win on this one. Man. Wow, that Spidey's up there. 26. Beating that.
There we go. It was a Batman one. We talked about the 3-0.
Nice
I'm going to throw this. Where do I think this ends? Do we think it hits 100 grand?
Yeah, I think probably 125 on that.
I kind of think it anywhere between 100 to 125.
It's a pretty nice copy. It's a good looking copy.
Yeah, if you don't pay attention to the grade and just look at the cover itself, it's a really good cover. There's a lot of dusting on top. Looks like nobody wanted to touch it to clean it, which is understandable. Less touch, the better. But
it's nicely centered too. A lot of times these old DC books are chopped weird. This one is centered really nice.
Yeah.
See the bottom Boy Wonder is right there, and on the there's this is a little bit under. It's fully there and lined up nice. And then on the top, you have the date and the price, and that is lined up right at the top. It looks really sharp. It's a beautifully centered copy. There's not even an under wrap or an over wrap. You can see that black line right there. A beautifully centered copy with good colors. I really think that's nice.
It wraps a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, it's within a margin of error that I would consider it to be as good a wrap as you're going to expect on a book. And with the centering, I think this is a really good copy.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Barrett says Batman 1 is a good read, and especially the Catwoman story. I don't think they refer to her as Catwoman yet, though. I don't think they refer to her name as Catwoman. But it is her. Okay, this is one of the two Cap ones. This is a 5.5 blue label. And is going to go for a ton.
Yeah, I'm
Beat the Batman.
Will it beat the Batman 3.0?
Yeah,
it should. I think they'll be close.
I honestly think that Batman looks so good, though, that I would rather have the Batman than this. Aside from the money, if I wanted both of them, I would take that Batman because I feel like there's nothing that jumps out at me about how great looking this copy is, but that Batman jumps out as a really good looking example of a Batman 1. I would take Batman over this, price aside, but I think they're pretty close in price.
Good.
I mean, this is a first appearance, so it's probably a bigger book key-wise to have this one, but I think that Batman just looks so nice.
Now, there's another Cap 1 in here coming up, which I like that one more than I like this one. Yeah, we've done that.
Wait,
Every time I see it, that makes that depresses. Yeah.
That red is nice.
Yeah, I miss my FF1 the most. Of all the books I've had in my life, the one I got rid of, that's the one I miss the most.
I have mine, but it's not.
I sold mine. I actually sold it and bought a car.
It's not as white as I'd like.
Very nice grade.
This is a good one.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend of mine who's actually in the hunt for a 7.5 Hulk 1 right now, and he's got a 6.5 Tales of Suspense 39. You might have seen him on the boards or in Instagram.
That looks
That's a nice
is that a 7.0?
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks a lot better than a 7.0.
Looks better
Yeah.
than the 9.2 picture they show up on.
Yeah,
all
it
the-
looks like a 9.2.
It looks better than that
I don't
9.2.
even see any spine ticks, really.
Yeah, and look at there's barely any chip. I mean, there's no chip pretty much.
Yeah, the back must have issues, or maybe it's just got some bends on it that you can't see in the picture.
And you see the rocket, the whole rocket. Sometimes you can't. That gets a little cut off sometimes. And these all nice.
Yeah, I feel like Hulk 1s are always nicely centered compared to other stuff.
You want to save money? Find a 9-pencer.
Oh, this is nice.
There you go.
White pager with a CVA.
And look at this.
Ooh, yeah.
You want to know this is my favorite Wonder Woman.
Not bad.
Yeah, that does look great.
Good reds. I only wish. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
That
a little weird with the horse looks awesome, but it's like, is this supposed to be World War I? I guess I don't know.
yep.
Yeah, because the helmets look like World War I helmets.
It is
Yeah.
World War One. Yeah. She's on in Warhorse.
That should be a lot more than 14,000. Yeah. I don't know how much though. Maybe. What do you think?
That
Yeah,
I don't even know what that book goes for.
75.
66.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 to 75. 75. I don't know. There's a lot of them, but that one in particular, I don't know how to judge CVA people.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
I really don't, because I saw, ever since I saw that Werewolf by Night 9.8 sell for 50,000 because of the CVA sticker, it was literally double than what I thought a 9.8 should ever sell for.
Yeah, the CVA sticker is a scam. Look, the CVA sticker is basically telling you that it presents better than the grade. I don't need a sticker to tell me that. I can look at a book, if it's a 6.5 and it looks like it's an 8.5, I know it looks better than the grade. I don't need a CVA sticker to tell me it looks better than the grade. I can just look at it. But what really annoys me, I mean, it's fine if you want to put on the lower and mid-grade stuff, but when they have 9.6s and 9.8s with CVA stickers, it's retarded, because you don't have a 9.6 that presents so much better than a 9.6 that it needs.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 9.6. 9.6s are mint books. I mean, of course, it doesn't look better than a 9.6 so much so that you need a sticker. No, I don't buy that.
And then there's
CVA is retarded even more.
Nice red.
Perfect.
Really deep red on this one is nice.
eh,
I don't like the faded reds on those sometimes.
don't care about Hulk 181s. Never do. Don't care about X-Men 1. Neat.
So this is
That's
the one you
the one
like?
I like. This one I like more than the 5.5, and the reason is it's restored. Yeah, it's been cleaned. Thanks for the cleaning. Look at the colors. That looks better than the reprints.
Well, it's interesting they cleaned it. They didn't get that A off of it.
Yeah. Wonder if the A was in ballpoint pen.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like pencil from here, but you can't tell
Yeah.
for sure. But
Right. Because if they did clean it with the wet stuff, or that material that they call clean material. Whoop.
yeah, I don't know. They obviously used a chemical solvent to clean it, and that's how it got the restoration
Right.
note. But yeah, it is a good looking copy.
I mean, and It's an 8.5. It's the only knock on there, and of all, I mean, yeah, it looks good.
And it's got that new CBCS holder
Which I love that new CBCS holder too.
and white pages, so it's very good paper quality regardless of the restoration.
Shout out to CBCS again. I'm slowly liking them more and more.
The only thing with the colors, yeah, the cap blues are tough to judge, and I've noticed that some, scans, you could have it just be a little off or just a little, and it could look amazingly better. So it's tough to say, unless if they were both in the same holder, it'd be easier to compare them next to each other. But because then you can color match the labels, which I've done before to see, like, because sometimes Heritage or other places it'll just pop a little better sometimes. I don't know if they're necessarily doctoring it or anything, but the scan can make a difference. But yeah, I mean, the blues look pretty nice in this one.
Yeah, it's probably one of the nicest cap one I've ever seen being offered for sale. We went over those already. We don't need to see the most common.
Oh,
There you go. Here's the sensation one.
Someone's dumping their Wonder Woman collection.
What's this one? 8.0?
5.0.
5.0.
5.0? Creamed off white?
Didn't we just see one of these in the Heritage?
Heritage, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not a fan of that dust shadow along the edge, but
Yeah.
who am I to complain about a Sensation one? You know what I mean?
We're nitpicking.
Way above any level I'd be able to get, but so I feel weird criticizing it, but I see that on other books, and I had a really high grade Fighting Yank 20, the shark cover. It was a 7.0 off white to white, but it had a really big dust shadow on the right edge, and I just couldn't do it, so I sold it.
Thank you, Mr. Galvin. We really appreciate it. What am I?
It's great. It's a great face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous book. Next.
Let's see if it's got the how centered this one is. Oh, no. Doesn't have both quotes.
Nope. Only has the one quote. Trim.
And
No, not kidding. You just got the overwrap.
Pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's hard to fit it. If you get the other quote on there, though, then the 12-cent circle's going to start to get cut. There's just not a lot of room.
Yeah, the one I had only had a half a quote.
Yeah, it's tough to get those on there without cutting into that 12-cent circle. So this is above average for a cut on this book, I think.
Yeah.
And the top looks good.
I feel like isn't something over here can get cut off sometimes too, or down here. I don't remember. I feel like there's another.
Just says who.
The who?
Yeah, it just says who.
I don't know. I think this is probably what, $35,000 book, $30,000.
Yeah, it'll hit 30 for sure.
That's it.
I mean, it honestly, of the big 5 or 6 Marvel one first appearances one, this took the longest to gain steam, and this was the first of the MCU movies. Journey was always pretty high. Okay, here's the first Scarecrow cover, not the first Scarecrow. Remember, the first Scarecrow, if you don't know, is that ridiculous baseball cover.
Yeah, it's World's Finest #3.
Right.
This is the one and only Golden Age Scarecrow cover.
Yep.
And if you look, for Batman villains, only one villain ever had his picture on his first appearance, and that's the Riddler. So none of the other villains are on the covers of their first appearance. So you're not going to find that. So the first cover for the villains is pretty big for Batman. And this is
about Man-Bat
cover for Scarecrow.
What about Man-Bat?
Well, I'm talking Golden Age.
Golden Age.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Man-Bat's there. Yeah, sure. Golden Age, the only one you're going to find is the Penguin, or the Riddler, I mean.
Shout out! I just want to make an announcement real quick while we're talking Batman. Coming up on Black Friday, we are doing Bat Friday. We will have part of our teaming with Mainframe Comic Con. We were going to have on here the Batman Catwoman 1 team of Finch, Clayman, and Jason Fabon. And we're going to have a bunch of other people there, including the great Tom King, Jock, the appearance by Mitch Gerards, and everybody else. This will be one you can buy a lot of exclusives. We'll have variants. We'll have prints for sale by Jock, and they're beginning signed. And we're going to have CGC. So it'll be a fun time on Black Friday if you're not doing anything and you're done online shopping. Nobody's waiting in line. Just had to take that out. X-Men, so keep going.
Wow, there's a lot of.
Oh, there it is.
That's nice.
It is. It's Ron Lim. It's from the Infinity Gauntlet series. I'm shocked it's already at the price it is, and so is the half the art community, considering that these pages not that long ago were never near this range. Ron Lim especially is probably shocked.
Oh, it's gonna go way more than this.
It is, and congratulations.
It could go
it's
like
Ron Lim,
20.
it's not. Yeah, it's from. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you why. 44 is the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's where it is. So,
Yeah, it's a big. I know a collector deal.
There's another one of those.
Who will definitely be bidding on that because he collects that guy's art.
Ooh, look at that, a 10. Perfect 10.
Aren't there? There's a few of those though, right?
Gem mint.
Probably. I mean, that book is so easy to get high grades on, and almost everyone then gets a 9.8.
It's yeah.
I don't. Here's my. I look. It's cool to have a 10 on a book like that, but even just that slab been moving around for years and years could cause a little slight tiny bend on the bottom or the side.
Yeah.
It's not actually a 10. It's just it was a 10 before it got put in here, and it probably never will be a 10 again. So I just
became a 9.6 in shipping. Yeah, quality control made it a 9.6.
But I mean, it was a 10 at one point. It probably still is, but I just don't trust it. I mean, if you drop that slab or it moves in shipping or when they took pictures, they can put the for a 10, the slightest little movement in that slab against the plastic edges is going to drop it. But I don't know. I mean, it's still cool to have a 10 for that book.
I like the story more than I like the cover. It's just my opinion.
How do you feel about this is one thing that I've never liked about certain high grade books is when you can see the inside page.
I think again, this is from a scan, and I think it picks it up in the light.
Well,
yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I see that on a lot of like Thor 137s too.
High grade FF1s have that.
Yeah,
I never liked that.
I don't like it, but it doesn't bother me because that's just part of the production of the books. Sometimes that happens with books, so it's part of how the book is made. The only thing I don't like about this, it has that one spot in the black to the black smoke rising by his hand, where it's like a dark black. That's on all of them, and it always annoys me. But it's on all of them. It's a production defect, but it's sort of off-putting a little bit.
Man, it's a good cover though.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a good book. Here you go, and there's another good one here.
Wait, is that the same?
Not different book.
I just want to look at the quote. Gotta look at the quote. Oh,
That's what. Yeah, that's more what. It's mine. Not a 7, but yeah, that's what mine had. No quote. Half a sliver of a quote.
Got that custom label on that one though.
Yeah, pay. It'll go for a premium, even though you can get one for $5. I don't know how I feel about the custom labels. To be honest,
It's got that sort of Daredevil 1 cut where it slants up towards the top.
Yep. Good call on the Daredevil 1. It's one of my examples I give everybody when I say.
No, it's tough to find one of those that doesn't have that slanted cut on the top.
Yep.
This one has it too.
All around, within. It was a different era. All right. There's another. I think there's
Wow,
another.
there's a lot of Spider-Man ones in this one.
there's a
Wow,
lot
look
of-
at the red in that. That's a great red. Jeez. Okay.
Oh, I got to pay attention. That's
Sure.
just,
36.
that's ridiculous. I'm not even going to look at it ASM 300.
I just sold my 9.6. It wasn't signed, but it was a 9.6, and I just sold it for $14.95. So that book is red
It's
hot.
driving me nuts that I
Wow.
sold mine. Newsstand 9.6. I mean, I got 1,000 for it, but
Ooh, I'd way rather have this than that Ron
Yep.
Lim page.
that's what I'm talking about.
Damn.
I'd
look at
rather
that.
have that because
Oh, yeah.
that's the original, and this is the Cosmic Cube era.
Yeah.
hmm
Wow.
And if you ask me, that in this one, Thanos was just terrible. I mean, in my favorite way, he was just had no remorse on there. And fighting Captain Marvel is still the best.
Yeah, he was a
If
great
you get a
villain.
chance, you should all read the Captain Marvel run with Thanos in it. Gives you a whole new respect for the character, and you understand more about him. Oh, Neil Adams.
Yeah, that's insanely high for that book.
Yeah, I don't understand $3,400 for that book. If there are probably
I mean, there's only 3 in 9.8.
right.
And I've
Again,
5 copies of this, and I only buy them when I think they're high grade. And the best I've ever gotten on it was a 7.5.
I was going to say, I think you sold me something close to
Wow.
at least 7.
Yeah, the one I sold you was pretty close to that too. And
Yeah.
then I bought one that was already slabbed, and it was a 9.0 white
Yeah.
paint. And that was a pretty nice copy. But
This looks nice, high grade, I have to say, man.
It looks like the poster I have.
I think it's a cool book. I like this book a lot. It's
Yeah,
just-
mine's hanging up in my son's room.
Did they call the next one number 2? Oh no, number 1 best. Okay.
No, this is just
I see.
233.
but it's a cover swipe of Superman 11. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, the chain breaking one. Yeah,
I think it's 11.
the Jerry Ordway run with Marv Wolfman. That's a number 1 because it's the New Adventures of Superman.
And what's the deal? Some people don't like the knee or something.
No,
Is it-
the other leg is too long, and there's that black spike that goes right up to his cape.
Yep.
And Neil Adams made a mistake on it. He went too far with that spike. See how it's like really dark and really long compared to the other ones?
Oh.
And the leg is sort of disproportionate. It's too big, even though it's coming towards us. The perspective makes it look a little wonky.
That's fine.
I don't have a problem with the leg. I think, I don't have a problem with that spike either, but I think Neil Adams hates that spike that he messed that up. But it doesn't bother me. I think it's a good cover. A bright orange starburst with Superman breaking the chain.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Wow. That'll go a lot.
Yeah, it's a Jim Lee.
Oh, that's cool.
The Jim Aparo. Yeah.
Promotional art.
Yeah, I was going to say this is not considered published work. So I think it's high.
That's one high grade too.
359, yeah.
Yeah.
181, yeah. I always compare this to saying if you find raw of this, they're there. There's a lot of them raw because if you ever look how many there are slabbed, it doesn't make sense of how many of these things were produced. I mean, that was a very popular book. The Run
Wow.
Detective Comics.
This will go up a lot more than this.
Yeah,
It's
it's cool
Jack
that-
Kirby original page with the Mole Man on there. It doesn't have a lot of the Fantastic Four on there, so you got to look at it from that point of view too.
plus it's mostly, I'd say 50% of this page is text.
Yeah, it's to me, I'm not crazy about this. I wouldn't want this.
Oh, you got Doom.
Yeah.
Well, is that the Goblin on there or Mole Man or something too?
Yeah.
Mole Man.
Scroll. You got Rope Mo Man. Almost a Namor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think because it's so early, it's just you don't see these lower 10 FF pages at all. I wonder if it's an oversized page.
Well, it has the size dimensions up in the description.
Oh,
Yeah, the descriptions, they always put the size dimensions.
If you want Doom,
12.5 by 18 and a
I've
half.
got Doom pages.
Yeah, Doom page would be cool to own.
Buscema Doom, no less. A few more.
any other big?
Yeah, keep going. Gobbledygook, by the way, that's the rare one to find.
Yeah,
Gobbledygook, if you're a Ninja Turtle fan, that's your grail.
Gobbledygook.
Yep.
I'd rather have first printing
Of the
number
first
one.
one. I understand, but that's the true first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Are they on the back cover?
Inside.
Hmm.
I am watching that Thor, that Jim 83. That's a nice 5.0.
The 5.0 is beautiful. Yeah.
It's a good looking copy for me. I like it. It's nice and it's got nice white cover.
I was going to say it is
Bright white.
extremely bright white with the green contrasting of the.
And I like that it doesn't have it's not cut off on that CCA stamp or the 83 August.
Yeah.
It's centered nicely. Usually that's chopped a lot.
That's
And
nice.
it's a good looking copy, I think.
The worst part is
his
this.
girlfriend didn't. His ex-girlfriend didn't tear his in almost in half.
So I'm watching this one. It will probably go too high for me to want to buy it, but I don't know. I mean, I think I would pay 7 for that, but it'll probably go for like 8. You know what I mean?
It'll go more than that. It'll go more than that.
I don't want to pay that much for it.
It'll go. My guess on that 5.0. It might hit 10. At this point, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to pay that much for
Thor
it.
is going crazy right now. I mean, I've been talking to somebody, and the more and more that people realize it's to me, it's the best cover of all the first appearances. So, but I like Thor the most. So, there's my Adam Strange I want to talk about.
Didn't you have one of these DS? You sold one a while ago.
Yeah, I had a 7.5.
Okay. Has this price gone way up too?
Yeah, I paid
Yeah,
$400 for an
Yeah.
8.0 in 2014 or 12.
I mean, I sold my 7.5 for 18,
Yeah,
and I think it's worth like 25 now. I don't know. It's up a lot.
I paid $400 for an 8.0 and sold it for $800 like a year later. That Adam Strange. Now, this is one of my favorite Gil Kane works ever, and
Wow,
has
that's
more to do with the woman. And this is a double cover. That's why the price is there.
Oh, is it?
It's a double cover 9.8, which means
And
that the interior is the 9.8, the exterior, the other one is a 9.4. I've been watching this, and now they put the new label. This has just been relabeled recently to get that new pedigree on there. But I've seen this book before. It's one of my favorite Gil Kane works.
It's great.
I do like Adam Strange. I'm not gonna lie to you. One of my
Yeah, not bad. He would be on my list of sci-fi stuff to pick up, but he's low on the list. But I do like cool stuff.
I mean, you get great artwork for some of this stuff is really cheap. So
Yeah.
This, on the other hand, is going to go for a ton.
I used to have a decent little run of Mystery in Space with him at his run of it, and years ago I was working on like picking up Mystery in Space with Adam Strange covers.
Mm-hmm.
I had quite a few of them. I probably had 50, 20 of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna go for a lot.
This is number 3 for Stanley work. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh man.
But probably of the is this Schomburg's first cap, or did he do 2?
Yeah, I think it's his first.
It's Schomburg's first cap, Stanley's first work, if that matters. But the other thing about it is it's just badass cover and badass book to own.
Red
Well, I'll
Skull.
tell you, a Cap Red Skull cover, there aren't a ton of those, I think.
It's kind of sci-fi-ish. Got the bonded.
I like this one. I would own it. The Girl in the Tube, that's classic Golden Age.
Hey, Superior Hero Reviews, good having you here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah,
I love
the Look, this one has the girl in the tube too. So I mean, that's a classic sci-fi theme.
Mm-hmm.
The title is awesome. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be, I would say, at least 30.
I don't know. We'll see.
This book just kept going up.
Yeah.
I like they give you a back cover photo of that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Usually never get back cover photos from Comic Link.
That's always been a heritage thing.
That's big action. Rushed hot off the press. Get it?
Got it.
And we got this is nice.
Yep.
Eh,
Motorcycle cap.
it's a little rough around the edges
Look at the multicolored tank.
for a 5, but
Oh yeah.
You can see that tank coming from miles away.
And that's the Russian tank. Right?
yeah, the Russians.
Yeah.
Two
And then the guy
Berlin.
at the bottom with the yellow overcoat and the red gun. I just love how he does that. Like
Yeah.
they're so unrealistic for wartime, but they're so cool on here.
I always thought this gun, like almost floating right here, was pretty funny.
Yeah, the red Luger.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the guy in the front has dropped it.
yeah. Doesn't really matter, I guess.
I wish they would take that Human Torch thing off though. It's kind of
I
blocked.
love these planes. Look so good. Man.
On to Berlin, right? Yeah.
To Berlin, it would be a ways away.
Yeah. 23 months away.
Oh, that should go for a lot. Neil Adams, nice Batman.
Yeah. Now that's the first Gotham, but I actually, of the Batman Robin early covers, I kind of like this one.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I've always said number 4 does more for me than the first appearance when he's popping through what looks like a high school pep rally, introducing Robin. Yay. No, but I like
number 3 though, where they're running at you.
Yeah, 3 where they run at you and this one. Bob, this is great, Bob Kane. So
I like that Batman cape on this one's pretty nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And first Gotham, is this also first Catwoman by name?
I think that was 3.
Okay.
And this, I like the silhouette of the building is very much like number 1.
Mm-hmm. Badass.
I was not a big fan of the yellow Daredevil, I have to tell you.
Well, you only had to worry about 6 issues and 1 issue of Spider-Man, and then it was gone.
I mean, what the hell? I do love this
7 total comics had him in yellow.
This
Except
profile of Spidey's head is awesome. How sharp that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that Daredevil costume, but I am a fan of the Wolverine brown and yellow costume.
Yeah.
the Frank Miller one, yeah.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that Wolverine costume the best, but I don't like it when it's on Daredevil. Although his is yellow and black. I don't think it's yellow and brown, but
9.8. That's pretty good for this.
That's very hard to find in that book. That's notoriously tough to find in a good grade.
Yeah.
It's a great book. It doesn't get the... I mean, now it's getting the credit it did, but for years, I have my copy.
well, hey, it's a nice bronze first appearance, and that's a great copy. Yeah, I think it's a cool book.
Yeah.
That book probably has room to grow because they did a little bit with the character and it didn't pan out the way they had hoped, I think. But I think there's a lot of people waiting for more exciting stuff with Luke Cage. And I think this is a decent key. I think it might even still be a little undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not
Yeah,
an 8, but if you get a pick up like a 6 or a 7.5 or something like that, probably a lot
I
more.
like it.
And if you do get that run, check out the art inside. It's just ridiculously good. The Hero for Hire and Luke Cage run.
Well, highest
What's
graded?
that grade on that? It's better than mine.
Oh my god.
I didn't. Yeah, I had a nice copy, but I don't have a 9.8.
Man. How the hell do they keep this in 9.8? Just never read it. This is one of those covers sometimes I hate it and sometimes I love it. I don't know.
It's one of my it's easily my I slabbed my first 7 or 8 Avengers. I don't think I slabbed number 7 yet. But 1 through 8 has this is one of my
1 through 8 and 11 are such great covers.
12 is phenomenal. Most
Which one?
underrated cover.
Yeah,
Thor
12.
slamming the hammer down.
Oh, it's a
12 yeah.
Federal Hill copy. That's why it's so nice.
Oh, Federal Hill, yeah.
Federal Hills are always bright colors and bright
Yep.
web pages.
Federal Hill is my it's not mile high as far as notoriety, but it's my favorite of the Silver Age pedigrees.
This one's got a weird, like, I don't know, staining or something. I don't know what's up with that. Like haloing or something almost, like a reverse haloing. See how bright it is at the top, and then it's like
Oh yeah.
yellowed in the middle. I don't know what's up. It might be the camera, or I'm not sure. No, because it goes across the Avengers too. You can see it's almost like a sun shadow or something. It's weird.
I like the date stamp.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you get that stuff showing through, which I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like it looks nice, but it's also not as white as I'd like it to be.
I'm not sure why it's like that. It's kind of weird.
Here's another whitish, but not really white. It's yellow. This is yellowy.
Yeah.
It's a great book, though.
Oh yeah. Bill
Let's see.
Everett.
Got the planted cut on the open edge too.
Look how great he drew her face. It's amazing.
Look at Foggy.
It's too bad he wasn't red.
You just had to wait 6 more issues.
I know, but I wanted
Wally Wood said, "I'll take care of it from here."
I wanted Everett to draw a red one. That would have been good.
I just had to wait for Wally Wood to just go, "Okay, I got it."
It's not a great Spider-Man.
There was a great interview with Stan Lee about Daredevil, and you know what he wanted to call him first? He wanted to call him the Batman because he was blind as a bat. And he was just because he thought Batman should be blind, you know. That was something he always talked about, and that was one of the great lines I ever heard from someone who says, "Yeah, he wanted to call him Batman." It took every lawyer in working for Marvel to say, "Don't do it." We just got over the Captain Marvel stuff. We're done with that.
I do like this, whatever you call this little box up here.
Corner box.
There was a good article a while ago. Man, I wish I knew where that was, but it was by a color. There was like an interview with a colorist of Marvel at the time when this came out, and there was all kinds of reasons he was given for why the superheroes were the certain colors, and it made a lot more sense to some of the weird reasons why they did stuff. But maybe that was part of why the yellow. I'm not sure. You know, he talked about the Hulk being gray and all kinds of stuff. Oh, that's a nice Art Adams. Look at the detail there.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I like that.
I never knew Portasio was the inker. This guy always reminded me of the Thundercats Snarf.
Snarf, snarf,
Snarf.
snarf.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oliver Coipel,
Yeah.
he did Thor for years. Did special covers. There you go.
Highest graded.
That's a great penguin. Very smug. I'll burn you up, she. It's not his first, right? Yeah.
No, it's Jim Mooney's first.
Well, his first, we were talking about in the chat, his Penguin's first is Tech 58.
Right. And
Like,
then,
I think they're on like a ship, climbing up into a ship or something, but Penguin's not on the cover. But
the first Penguin cover, I think he's on a dragon or an ostrich. I forget which
Oh,
one.
yeah.
it is. One's an ostrich, one's a tech. There you go. Tech 31, this is what I wanted to show you, is the 9.6 fully restored. And the restoration includes an entire new book.
yeah, I'll tell you, it's bad timing for this though, because people looking to spend money on a Tech 31, there's a 5.0, just universal 5.0 in the Heritage feature that's ongoing right now that ends in a few days.
Correct. We had a
Bad timing for this one. They need to wait a little bit because anybody who's up for buying one now is going after that 5.0 probably over this. So I think this one will go a little bit lower, I think.
I mean, if you just read through the restoration, you'll run out of breath real quick.
I think it's the castle from All Select One.
The Bergenstar, yeah. The Bergengarten.
And then the FF48, I just sent one to CGC. It took me forever to find a nice centered copy. It's always under wrapped. Like 95% of them are under wrapped, and it cuts off the M in Marvel and part of the two heads and part of the hand. Yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Maedo has a good wrap on it, but you're right, and his Crocs are cut off at the bottom. Mommy's upstairs.
And the one I sent in is probably, I think it's like a 6.0 range, but it's perfectly centered. It's got a perfect wrap on it, so it doesn't cut any of that stuff off. And that's what I've been looking for. And I found that one raw. And it's like a 6.0 I'm hoping for, but it's got a perfectly good wrap. I love it. So really,
I feel like this 12 is odd.
huh?
Like, did this issue just have a kind of a squished 12?
I don't know. I mean, I noticed that about it, but I didn't compare it to other issues. I'm not a big FF fan, but I just wanted this 48. I just wanted a nice centered copy of it, nice wrap.
Can't investigate that. Yeah, your copy looked great.
This is that's Marie Severin right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are under wrapped. Like what you call it, under wrap.
Yeah, I think it's under wrapped because the cover is going to the back. The over wrap would be where the white is showing. That, I think the Silver Age Marvel are mostly under wrapped if there's an issue. And when you get to the bronze, there's a lot of over wraps where there's that white showing, like Hulk 181 or something.
Are you sure though that this isn't just one of those books where there was spine ticks and then they did their pressing magic to move it over a bit?
Well, you can easily tell if you have a back cover picture and you can see a bunch of spine ticks that are not on the spine anymore. It's pretty easy to identify, but that one's so high grade, it probably was produced like that.
Well, mine has never been pressed. The old label has got, you could see, if you look carefully, you can see it's got an overwrap, an underwrap, sorry.
This TTA is a book that's really gained a lot of steam lately too. It's becoming like a very classic cover that collectors are looking for, and I think it's pretty popular, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. But it's really a classic cover that a lot of people are going after these days. Two
things about this book that make it a little special: there are less of these than there are FF48s, and this is 1967, and it's the first time the Silver Surfer appears in a title not Fantastic Four.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. This is before he gets his own title and everything, and also I always call it a prelude to the Defenders, but not really. There he is at the pep rally.
Just got way too many things restored for my taste.
Extensive.
Pieces added is always just like, what is that really?
Turn off for me. It's not the same book.
Pieces added. And it's too bad because it could be a tiny thing. If they just told you more about it, maybe it would be okay.
Well, pieces added are tough. It's impossible to find where they're added in these photos, especially if it's done professional. You just cannot tell. Could be a huge chunk.
I mean,
it could be a little tiny. You just can't tell.
Right. I've shown pictures of what Pieces Added has done, and over time, they're discolored. They're not the same color as the rest of the page because it's new pieces. Showcase 22.
I always thought this city was excellent. Look at that.
Capital City.
It's just
I think it's a really good cover overall.
Art is awesome.
Yeah. I got lucky about in 2013. I bought a Grab Bag box and I got maybe a 2.0 in this.
Nice.
It was in there. Yeah, it was a Grab Bag box off the CBC websites. Well, they were doing them back then where these guys, the high-end dealers, were just dumping in key books. And this was one of them.
You still got it now?
No, I sold that thing. I'm not a big Green Lantern fan. I got it. I was excited, and I'm like, but it wasn't in the grade quality I would want in this book, because this is I kind of talk about this book sometimes. You really need to have a good copy of this book to enjoy the cover.
Yeah, it deserves it because it's
yeah. It's no different than House of Secrets 992 or any books that have that key cover. It's just, if you got a good cover, it's there. Now, what I like about this book, Gil Kane's work on this, is just there's nothing wrong with this cover. It's just perfect in every way.
Yeah. I like it more than the original Green Lantern.
Well, the Green Lantern 1.
Come this way.
Yeah, I know you're talking about the Golden Age, but the Green Lantern 1, the first in title for the Silver Age, has that goofy clown on it, and I think that cover is very good at all. And then the Showcase 22 is excellent cover.
Yeah. This one's getting expensive, right?
This is right.
I mean, I'll tell you, if you look at price data for this book over the last 10 years, it hardly moves.
Well, Barry Windsor-Smith Conan, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
unless it's a 9.8, they're all the same.
It doesn't seem to
it
be
was
value
because of the Netflix or whatever.
Well, that's a beautiful copy, though.
Aren't they doing like a new show or something with it?
I hope not. I like the Schwarzenegger one.
That's what I thought. I heard they're doing something new.
Stay Puft, that one.
Look at the colors; they're awesome on this.
No, it's just a great book. I mean, but there were a lot of them are. I mean, even a 7.0 will have good colors.
I need one.
Yeah, we'll find one.
That's a book you don't need to rush to get.
Right.
That's the thing after doing Golden Age.
Yeah, that's the thing with Silver Age. We tend to marinate on debating between 11 different copies of that book.
We're like, oh, wait.
Oh, there we go. The most overrated and underrated book. Overrated Captain America, underrated horror book.
I tried buying one of these not long ago after Knights and I talked about it on the show here. We were talking about this book. And I actually made what I thought was a pretty legit offer on a 5.0. And the guy wanted like way more than that. So it wasn't happening. I think he wanted like, 13,000 for a 5.0.
What?
Yeah. There's a 5.0 white pages, but he's like, it hasn't been pressed. It hasn't been pressed. And I was like, all right, well, you can press it and then you can maybe get more. But I think I offered him like, I don't know. I think I offered him like 8 or something. I thought I made a pretty strong offer, but he was like 13 is his lowest or something, or 12.5 or something. So it didn't happen. But
I don't see it as
keep an eye on this book.
At a 7.0?
No, the one I'm talking about was a 5.0.
A 5. Okay, because I think this is breaking. 13. I said this is going to go through 10,000 and.
Oh yeah. But for a 5.0, I didn't want to pay 10 grand.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm making.
Especially.
He's got bad registration.
Oh, I mean, it's not even a good cap. It's not a cap store. It's not a Captain America. You're buying it for the Red Skull. There's no reason to buy it for. I don't even think that's Steve Rogers. I think it's the other guy still. At this point,
Yeah.
Steve's frozen in the ice.
It's damn cool. No, God.
I know.
It's cool. I like it more as time goes on.
Yeah. I mean, when I first looked at buying one of those, it was too high for me back then too. Because
Yeah.
again, it's kind of like, all right, Cap's not selling. Let's make it a horror book.
That's pretty cool. They got a date stamp on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this book, ever since I've been looking at Timely's, it's always been just real expensive. Kind of like this. Oh.
Yeah, that's a nice white pager there.
Great colors.
Have you had a grade this high, DS?
Yes, but let me explain. I had a 6.0 restored, which I had the resto removed, and it was a 5.5 conserved. It had tear seals, basically.
Okay.
And it looked as good as this, but it was conserved
Go
5
upstairs.
ultimately. And I
Okay.
sold that. And I think that my old copy is actually on eBay now.
I love it when we see like old books we have on different places.
Yeah.
But I think the price on this, a white pager on this is pretty rare, and it's a really good looking copy with the black on the front. I could see this going for
12?
8,500. I think 85.
Okay.
I don't see
Oh,
it.
it's a 5.0. I thought it was a 6.0. I'm sorry.
No, I mean 85 would really be pushing it, but it is a beautiful copy and it's a white pager. But I'll tell you another interesting trivia about this book. It's almost impossible to find one that has the cherry on the cigarette. It's almost always cut off, and this one is cut off as well. And it's not a wrap issue, it's a printing issue sometimes, or a cutting issue. Sometimes they cut it a little wider, just a smidge, and it shows that cherry, but most of the time it's missing because there's a red cherry on the end of that cigarette, and it's never on there. It's like 1 out of every 25 or 30 that I see.
I know people have talked about the original art for this exists. And
Yeah, it sold not too long ago.
Yeah, this
Right.
sold at Heritage a couple months ago.
Yep. And that's where you see the cherry on it.
Yeah.
Much as not.
But I like the ones that have the cherry on there. It's just a small detail, but it's bright red, and it just is an extra little splash of color in the right place, and it just sets it off because there's red on the bottom, and then she has the red necklace, and then there's the red cherry, and then there's the red around the title. It really frames it nice with that little extra dot of red.
Yeah.
It's a small thing. It's not a major deal, but it's just one of those tiny little things I look for. Mine didn't have the cherry either.
It helps you save money when you find things like that. You're like,
I don't hear anybody else talk about it, so I don't know that even plays into the value of the book. But
well, I mean, like when you wait for a certain one, you don't worry about missing them too much.
Right, yeah, that's true.
This is nice. That's a tough book to get. Yeah. Geez. All cut off though.
I used to think that there was color touch on the first book I looked at of this because the and the I are dotted with blue, and I was like, man, kid colored that in with a ballpoint pen. And it wasn't until I looked at a few I realized it's on all of them. But my first look at this book back in the day, several years ago, I thought there was color touch on the one I was looking at.
I forget, is yours this good?
Mine looks better, but mine's a 9.2, but it's perfectly square. None of that white's showing. I've got it right here if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Mine looks perfect except for the bottom right. It's got a crunch cover because I read it.
I think mine looks better than that one. If JD wants to make me big, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Here we go. There's the cursor. I got to get mine in a new slab. I've got mine in the old slab.
Yeah, it's like mine's perfectly squared up.
And it's not really crunched, which a lot of the spines get crunched on.
No, mine is perfectly squared up.
Because they put it in the right holder. Mine is in the old holders.
Yeah.
And they one size fit all back then.
And so this one is perfectly squared up, and none of the white's showing. It doesn't have any crush to it, and it's just perfectly framed. perfectly cut, perfectly wrapped, and it's a nice, perfectly square spine with none of the white showing. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful copy now. A little bit on the back there is rolled, but
Yeah.
but yeah, from the front, I mean, none of that white showing. It's a nice square spine. And mine's a white pager too. So yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful copy. I'm really happy to have this. I think this looks better than that one.
Nice. Mine, again, older. This is the 1998 slab. The first time they went to this style, but it's everything on this. There's no ticks, no nothing, no there. The problem is right down,
Yeah, a little color break.
right there.
That's all it takes.
And that's all it took. But I love this book because this is my copy of my favorite book that I've ever had, and I've got to get it reslabbed.
Oh, that's one of those really wonky cases they had. That's a thin. It's like all one like big piece in the front. It doesn't have any indented
Nope.
part. It's that flimsy, thick one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
hate
don't-
the slab, but good copy. Probably can use a cleaning and a press, but I wouldn't press. There's nothing to press out. I don't think. I think when they squished it in here, they pressed it itself. A lot of
What
times.
about-
So, oops, sorry. Let's go back to the. Let's go back. Knights, you ready?
Well, I wanted to show mine.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, nice.
It's got like tape on it.
I mean, it looks good.
Oh yeah.
Got it for like $20 at a con.
Well,
Ever since, I love how it has that first page on the
Yeah.
inside.
Yep, the Loki. Yep. Yeah, if you don't know the story, you should read it. It's actually it's a real good story about. Well, it's an okay story.
Well, I'll tell you, when DS is collecting Silver Age books, you know they're good.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
We've got it's about 11 o'clock my time and midnight for DS. Let me go back to all of us here.
Anyway,
Thanks a lot
I'll show
for
one
joining
more
us.
thing.
Yeah,
Let me show
one
one
more.
more last thing of my continuing my search for the old
Ooh,
animals.
nice. What year was that?
74 or 5.
Nice.
Fourth printing, and this is there were only, I think, 1,000 of these made.
Wow.
If you find, I think they're undervalued for sure.
I think there is a following for D&D. I mean,
1,000.
we have there's more and more shows are being talked about D&D. There's movies being discussed. There's this whole series being planned, I've heard. So
And the minute they slab this,
yeah.
forget.
You could get that slab now, right?
I don't know.
Well, if
Oh.
it's a slab, they'll slab it. It doesn't have to be a comic or anything. If it fits in a slab, they will slab it.
Nice.
They'll grade it and slab it.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to do one thing before we go to everybody else. As a reminder, next Friday on Comic we will be doing the day after Thanksgiving. We've got Black Friday. We've got on here David Finch. We've got a panel with Clayman as well. We've got a lot of giveaways. A lot of prints are being sold. We are kicking off Batman and Catwoman, and it will be out the following week. And we're going to have a talk with all of the artists, all the writers and creators, and there are possibly more appearances to come from other people. But Tom King, Jock, Mitch Gerards, Amy, David Finch, Clayman, Jason Fabach, and should be a lot of fun. Join us at that time. You can join us either on Mainframe Comic Con or on the Comic Core channel. Anybody else have anything you want to plug? Or are we just gonna?
Nope.
Okay, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Hope you had a good time. Thank you all. Thank you all for being a friend. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.